and movies and TV shows.
The Flash, a film destroyed by the wrong ideas of the CEOs of Warner and DC Comics and breach of contract with directors and actors. After 6 directors' problems and many times have the plot rewritten, the problems in the final result of the movie are clear. This movie would be a Flash movie along with the Justice League like the other movies made by Zack Snyder. With the lack of actors from the universe created by Zack Snyder, the film was forced to make changes in the plot, turning the movie into a big fan services to guarantee an audience for the movie to pay the production costs, bringing old and new actors to represent the characters of the Justice League as support for the Flash in the movie. So we have Keaton's Batman and actress Sasha Calle as Supergirl. These are the new actors. Wonder Woman from Gadot and Batman from Affleck and Aquaman from Momoa appear quickly, because they were the actors who were still left to make appearances after big problems and changes at Warner. The absence of Henry Cavill as Superman and Fisher as Cyborg. It is easily visible a big problem with the film and due to more problems with the contract of the actors and with the reboot of the universe of DC Comics. With the time spent on productions and reshoots, the film could be much better. There are some appearances of Henry Cavill's Superman and other types of Flash and Superman and Batman, but they all appear in CGI in the timeline in different universes visualized by Flash, adding more names and appearances to the film to bring in more audience and make fan services. But these appearances do not change anything in the course of the film. The movie is long, so let's go by topics. Ben Affleck's Batman. Batman is a character that worked well in his 3 versions in the movie. Affleck's Batman that starts the film shows a more current Batman, following the pattern of today's youth, with unnecessary lights in his car as Bruce Wayne and in his Batman uniform. Very different from the comics. In comics, Batman and Bruce Wayne both are more mysterious and darker. But Ben Affleck's Batman is very active and strong and violent in action, just like the comics Batman. Despite Batman failing in his mission and receiving help from Wonder Woman and managing to save Gotham. But in a final result, Ben Affleck's Batman is great. Keaton's Batman. He is a more experienced Batman, already with more time being the Batman, living alone in a controlled Gotham after many years in action as Batman, but with no experience fighting super enemies. For he also fails by dying in combat. About Keaton's representation. The plot brings a story with lines and actions equal to the films of the 80s Batman, making Keaton repeat lines and actions from the old movies. Pure fan services to please the older audience. Keaton reprises his Batman performance in style. Wonder Woman. It only appeared because it should have been in Zack Snyder's original storyline where all of the League's heroes would appear. Wonder Woman. It has 2 scenes. One saving Batman and saying goodbye to the heroes. In the source material in the Flashpoint comics from which the film is based, Wonder Woman has a great deal to do with the wars between the Amazons and Atlantis. Keeping her name in the movie left many fans thinking we were going to see something similar to the comics. Her scenes must have been reduced to just a quick appearance to do more fan service like Wonder Woman was in Shazam 2. Supergirl. Character that comes from the crazy and stupid idea of the former CEO of Warner to replace characters like Batman and Superman, icons of DC Comics, by Batgirl and Supergirl, which was Warner's plan, trying to direct sales of DC Comics movies to an audience of gender equality causes, replacing men with women in their productions to solve problems with low sales in theaters. Try to grow sales of DC Comics movies in theaters to compete with Marvel Comics movies. Losing actors like Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. Everything in DC Comics revolves around 3 characters: Batman, Superman and Wonder Woman. There is no DC Comics without these 3 characters. In the movie Supergirl, she has the physical appearance of a comic book version of Superman's daughter in an alternate future reality. Mixed with the name of the classic Supergirl, the character is introduced and removed from the movie without being noticed. Sorry to the actress who are not to blame. But Supergirl is a minor and weak and emotionless character. During the film we see Superman by Christopher Reeve with Supergirl from the TV series with actress Melissa Benoist in CGI. That destroys everything about the Supergirl in this movie. And leaves fans wondering why they do this to us. You just need to follow what's done in the comics. No need to make a new Supergirl. The final result for Supergirl in the movie is Supergirl sucks. General Zod and Kryptonians, represented by the same actors of Man of Steel. Secondary characters in the movie are only for the movie to save on production costs. Because it would be very expensive for Warner to make a War of Amazons against Atlantis without the original actors of the Wonder Woman and Aquaman films as in the original story of Flashpoint of the comics. And it would be pointless to spend so much money on a movie that ends the universe of Zack Snyder. Like Supergirl, Kryptonians come and go without you noticing and appreciating the characters. Flash. Barry Allen. The casting for the family and the Flash himself was once a mistake in the Snyder movies. Where Barry in the comics has nothing to do with Miller's physical appearance. The actor plays a fun version of the Flash with the only Flash running clumsily. But when Miller plays Barry, we can see many different personalities. Barry from the comics is a scientist and very smart and Joker like the Flash. Miller's Barry is more childlike and not very smart at the beginning of the movie. When we have two Barrys, Miller represents more like the original Barry from the comics in the adult version of Barry. Being more responsible and smart, Miller is another 18-year-old version of Barry that is totally idiotic and childish. Okay for what the movie is going for. But Flash's mother, Nora Allen, is portrayed in the movie as a Latina woman. Unlike in the comics, Barry's father is also not like the one in the comics. Barry in the comics is a red-headed person. None of the Allen family actors have these physical characteristics. The Dark Flash. Character without attention in development and creation, and most obvious option not to spend time with a backstory. Dark Flash is an 18-year-old future version of Barry. Nothing similar to the Dark Flash from the comics. The storyline decided to only change the source material to save money. So they don't introduce Reverse Flash, or a story about the Speed Force. Not showing who kills Barry's mother, which in the comics is the Reverse Flash. In the movie the killer of Barry's mother is hinted at as a random house burglar. The plot. Flash goes back in time to save his mother from death, and prevent her father from being charged with murder. At the end of Justice League, Barry starts working in an investigative laboratory to help his father prove his innocence. Which makes no difference, because it's Batman who fixes the video to help Barry's father. The vision of the movie writers. DC Comics cities are based on American cities with fictitious names and are located in the United States. And a supermarket in the United States. There's only one camera working in the whole supermarket and it doesn't work. But the video is not valid as evidence because it does not show the face of Barry's father. There is no other camera on the streets. There is no CCTV in this universe. Or camera at a neighbor's house or other establishments that Barry's father passed on his way to the supermarket. Every supermarket or mini-market or any type of store has a camera at the cashier to control the employees with the money and to register the people who buy in the establishments. In the plot of the film's scriptwriter there is only one camera in a supermarket and all the way from Barry's house to the supermarket. Okay, let's think realistically. 1. We have a video of a person wearing the same clothes as the accused. 2. At the same time as the accused says he was at the supermarket buying tomato sauce for his wife. 3. Accused's testimony equal to what happens and is shown in the video. 4. Equal testimony from his son confirming his father's story. 5. In the supermarket there is a camera on top of the tomato sauce shelves. The accused says to go to the supermarket to buy tomato sauce at that time wearing these clothes that day. And the script shows that the video only gives innocence to the accused if his face appears. What a fuck. There are 4 reasons for a doubtful outcome in a court with or without jury, which would not give a guilty result in a court of law or a court of jury. And Barry's dad would be free. Even so, it is not enough for a screenwriter or a screenwriting team to know how a court works. For the screenwriter, the video only proves innocence if the accused's face is visible in the video. Shit screenwriter. Yeah, writers on strike to get paid more, and they get paid millions of dollars to write this. Alright, okay. Flashpoint. Imagine 3 timelines. Flash in timeline 1 goes back in time and modifies the past, and creates the timeline 2, where his mother never died and her father doesn't stay in jail. When trying to return to the present from the new timeline 2, Flash is thrown into timeline 2 by Dark Flash when Barry is 18 years old and has no powers. Dark Flash that doesn't exist yet because 18-year-old Barry has no powers. In timeline 2, Barry would not become the Flash because his mother is alive the night of the Lightning Lab accident, and Barry would be on a date with Iris. But the Flash from timeline 1 was pushed into timeline 2 by a future possibilities of Barry from timeline 2, the Dark Flash. The night of the lightning accident in the laboratory, the Flash, not understanding the multiverse, thought that the 18-year-old Barry from timeline 2 was the same Barry the Flash from timeline 1. And the Flash then takes the 18-year-old Barry to the lab to have the lightning accident and become the Flash, thinking that if this Barry didn't gain powers, he, the Flash of timeline 1, would lose his powers and be unable to return to the new present timeline. And so the Dark Flash from timeline 2 before his own 18-year-old Barry from timeline 2 gains powers, makes the Flash in timeline 1 take himself Dark Flash still as Barry to have powers, making a paradox in time. And the funniest thing is that Dark Flash is responsible for his powers and also responsible for his own death. The Flash of timeline 1 basically wrecked and ruined a lot of things with just a small timeline change. 1. 18-year-old Barry became the Dark Flash and got stuck in a loop trying to win a battle against Kryptonians and never hung out with Iris or saw his mom and dad. 2. Superman was killed as a baby by General Zod. 3. Aquaman was never born. 4. Diana never became Wonder Woman. 5. Supergirl died fighting General Zod. 6. Batman also died fighting Zod. 7. General Zod turned Earth into New Krypton. And then we have the second Flashpoint. Creating Timeline 3, Flash achieves his father's innocence by changing the positions of tomato sauce cans. And Bruce Wayne is George Clooney. In post-credits scenes we have Momoa as Aquaman, to help with ticket sales in theaters for Aquaman 2, the last film in the saga of Zack Snyder for DC Comics. Even with a script full of errors and visual effects with poor quality, The Flash managed to please many fans and critics around the world. Thank you very much for watching the video. Leave your like, leave your comment, follow the channel. It helps a lot and you pay nothing for it. See you next time. Be good. Cheers.